Drosh, Toasty, Jaren, what do you guys want? Base game? Regular game? I'm fine with regular. Did they add anything? Oh, there should be a thing where we can do it differently. I guess they added tournament mode. Regular's fine? Okay. Uh, Alright. If anybody wants to do 2v2s that are currently not in this lobby, you can orchestrate them through my chat. I'm willing to help you guys out. Jude wants to get some in started up. Okay, let's start. This seems fine. It puts me on Toasty and Jaren's team. He checked it in game, Gorilla. The wiki and codex won't always update. That has to be manually updated. The only way to be sure is to test things in game. New update is live. Omega. Who's winning, East or West team? West team would be Drosh and Much Too Great. East team is Toasty, Kitten, and Jaren. So we got a Chaos pick, a YOLO pick, a Lock-in Zuka. And what does Much Too Great want to do here? I think Chaos is our extra mode. Redraw. Oh wait, no. Must be everyone has access to everything. Tyrion left. Can Drosh carry the unranked man who plays classics? Okay, we got double Zeus coming out of... Ah, okay, SSP. That makes sense. Oh well, I'm fine with everyone picking what they want. Double Zeus out of the one side. Both snailing. And then on east side, both snailing, double Zeus. West side, we've got a Bone Crusher start on Much Too Great. He does have the all-coveted Garg. Or Grarl. Gargoyle. Duh. As well as in a Windhawk. Ooh, on Drosh. This could get very bad very quickly. Jaren, you probably should close stream, or at least mute it. No cheating here. Alright. They did, I will say, snail prior to seeing what they had built. So I think Zeus's will both hold there. Let's see how much he leaks here. 67% again on the Windhawk. The bright side is his teammate will full clear with the Crusher and also hold for him. So there is some positives here. Wonder if this sways the betting against West team a little bit here, because they just leaked hard on one. That being said, they did get an extra worker with a longer time period, and you can see here how that's affecting the game state in terms of the Mythium, right? The fact that Jaren did not push off that. kind of is confusing to me. I would expect him to have pushed here to at least 4 worker off getting a 20, if not 5 worker. He snails here. He does get enough for the false maiden, so he's still in a good position there. Let's see here what our boy Much Too Great does. He adds the buckler. Okay, so you see, in traditional games, what I would do is I would have added a gargoyle here and added a split. It allows me to more easily push to 6 worker, if needed. I think this might be taking too much aggro here. That's the whole point of having a split with this guy, is that you want him to not take so much aggro, but it looks like he might be okay. The re-snail into Drosh, I don't think is going to be enough. Looks like our boy is holding with the Bone Crusher. See, Jaren should definitely have pushed another worker now in this situation, but he might be just... Yep, he's double Zeusing. Okay, I don't recommend this. It does work. I don't recommend it, but it does work. The thing is, he could theoretically be an extra worker here. Much Too Great does have some good Mythium to send to him because of his start, though, so, you know, is what it is. Interesting setup by Drosh here to go double False Maiden. Let's see here. He sends him a Brute after income. It will leak him, but nothing too crazy. Like, I'll take this leak if I'm Jaren to a Brute. I'd be pushing 6, if not 7 workers. The problem is he has no... And this is a huge issue that people have with Zeus. He has no, like, cheap frontline mercenaries to really assist him in these waves. So, see what happens. Much Too Great's just short of getting anything really crazy here. He does get a Dark Mage, I guess works. See what Drosh does. In my opinion, at this point, Drosh should probably just upgrade this mask. Or is he shifting full for next? It looks like he might be just shifting here. He is full shifting here. Oh no, he got a last second desert program. Now let's see here if Much Too Great can hold. If he has a Green Devil here, I think he easy holds this, but without the Green Devil, he's just leaking too much. He doesn't have any tanking outside of his one frontline mercenary, which is bad on the wave. The double Zeus is holding here, though again, I'd be careful if I were him. Seems like Drosh should easy hold for his teammate here. I am a little concerned though. Drosh is much more behind in terms of workers at this point. You know, 2 workers on Toasty is not a small sum. He obviously has not gotten sent, but that's where it's even scarier that he built a desert program last wave and not you know, shifting for a big unit, right? If he had gotten a bunk here even, or the violet without with a push, I should say, it would be, I think, feel a little bit better. He will get a send here finally from Jaren. The 80 and the 20, double 20. Double snails, I should say. There should be no leak whatsoever on him. If you got double DT, there's a chance. But the lizards just don't do a whole lot against either armor type that are taking aggro here. That's good for him. There is the Green Devil, came out a little bit late, but that's fine. We're getting another Brute coming out by Toasty into Much Too Great. Let's see how far Drosh pushes. He pushes another worker. 8 worker, that's good. Drosh definitely needs to be pushing hard here. 9 worker, I should say. To get that worker advantage back. He's good on the next couple waves, right? Masks and Violet are both really good on 7. Violet's not as great on 7 just due to the fact that its typing dies super early, but if I can get 1 to 2 spells off on, if I can get 2 spells off, it's a really nice unit. I don't love the second Bone Crusher here. I would have much rather seen him upgrade the Ranger, just because Ranger is a lot better, and on top of that, the second Bone Crusher is too far back to take aggro. So it's just not going to take aggro until after one of your units dies, which at that point then it's not really beneficial. It's just a negative in general. As you can see, like, the split aggro just isn't really that great. Thankfully for him, Drosh should carry him through this next wave or two. He does get another hit. Much too great sending a Cannoneer into Jaren. I don't dislike this, especially because we see Mudman. With this leak, though, he very well could have gotten, and yeah, he very well could have gotten a Mole, and I think Mole would have been the preferred option for me if I were in Much Too Great's shoes. I think looking at Jaren's build, you don't know he has anything to cover, so the Mole, in my opinion, is just really good. Let's see what Jaren does build here. I believe he's going to go Badger if he has the gold. He does. Oh, he goes Trinity Archer. Okay, so I think this might be a blunder here. I think you have enough DPS already. The the Elite Archer does not really help him. So I think a Badger in this situation is going to give him more sustain and allow his units to actually deal damage. He's got almost all DPS at this point. Yozora coming out of Much Too Great and the upgraded Hellraiser coming out of Drosh makes a little sense for both sides to go Hellraiser here because 8 is a scary wave. I do believe Jaren is going to leak. Again, no tank here, not very beneficial. The only downside is now the Cannoneer just doesn't do a whole lot of damage to the Zeuses, but it's more than enough to leak him. It looks like both Drosh is going to hold as well as Much Too Great. So both. Oh no, Drosh barely leaking. That is unfortunate. Unfortunate leak there. Yes. Again, the Mole would have done more with the Archer getting dropped as well. So in this situation, again, I definitely say Mole into Jaren was the play. It's good DPS. It's impact, right? And I think it does close to the same amount of damage impact-wise as Cannoneer does. It's just not income, which people don't like. At this point, Much Too Great needs to push a little bit. You gotta send last wave, right? I believe, yeah. 60 send last wave. I definitely think you gotta look towards pushing here, somewhere along the lines, right? I really don't love the extra Green Devil either. I again would have gone for the Daphne. He does go get Daphne before I even mentioned it, so that's good. Daphne here just makes him better all around. The Green Devil just falls off so quickly. I do not love Drosh's send here. He should have seen that he had a Hellraiser non-tantrum last. So the tantruming Hellraiser here is just too much. I don't dislike the Hermit here if he had only went 1 Elite Archer. The second Elite Archer makes the Hermit kind of worthless. There's just not enough damage there. Not enough like sustain, I should say, to get through everything. I guess Drosh proved me wrong. Leak and Toasty barely. I would have much rather seen a Ascend on 9. You're right. If I see this build, I see, okay, he's got a ton of value in units that are going to be bad on the wave in terms of their defensive typings. The only thing he really has is Oathbreakers and a single Buckler. Right now, that would have been my play. It does seem, though, that Drosh is going for a scale situation where he's pushing really hard, sending a lot, which I think is not necessarily the bad play here. You look at your teammate and you say, okay, my teammate is falling behind in this game. I need to take over. So what does he do? He starts sending a lot. I don't dislike this idea. Toasty's very pushed, right? Again, Toasty only has the Royal Guard, which again proves my point. You didn't have much for the wave. Jaren goes with another Zeus. I would have much rather seen this Zeus be the Zeus he kept. You don't ever split with a Zeus. Don't ever split with a Zeus. It's just, you're wasting 175 gold. Yikes. Okay, so this is the kind of the issue though. Toasty's pushed really hard because he has been getting income sends. So what happens when you get income sends? You can afford an ogre on 9 with only a single wave skip. 15 workers on Toasty here is a rough game for anybody else. Oh, I forgot to do this. You guys should be able to hear game sounds now. The Drosh not being able to full hold him here is kind of unfortunate. Thankfully, this is not a king in 1v1 because this would have probably killed you. In 2v2 though, chunks down 80%. That's not a huge deal. Chunks down to 80-some percent, 70-some percent. Not a big deal. Full resend here by West team with Drosh going for the nuclear MPS here. I don't dislike this play. MPS is actually pretty good damage here. The worry I have is more along the lines of, does he have the sustain to get that thing killed? A last second Zerker drop. We will get to see how Zerker works here. I wouldn't harden here. Again, you need the Mudman for next. You have no tank line. Jaren, you need tanks. Like, half your build, over, I'd say probably what? 4/5 of his value is all DPS. He has no tank line. You need more tanks. So in this situation, I would have, again, not gone another lead archer, gone a Grarl, gone another Mudman, some sort of tank value. You're fine this way, but now the resend on 11 is going to be scary, right? Especially with overwork in the builds. You don't want to allow someone to get free overwork into you. Drosh does hold, which is good. Toasty does leak. So the thing you got to look at now, Toasty does have more workers, as well as Jaren has a work advantage on Much Too Great. But look at the value advantage Drosh has, right, on Toasty and Jaren. So what's going to happen potentially here is that we're going to get to a game state where if they don't start sending a lot and getting some of that income push, they're going to be really behind, right? Because you see, Drosh has 741 in terms of income, 946 at this point, compared to the 722 and 656. So, like, realistically, Much Too Great is on a similar income total to Kitten and Jaren because they've been saving a lot more, right? You can see this is a relatively big send here, 224. I'm curious to see how Drosh holds this, though. This will buff the Windhawk here. I don't dislike the Fire Lord with Titan. I think the Fire Lord in its current positioning, though, is not going to take any aggro, which again is not good. And I really don't like Butcher on Oathbreaker Royal Guard. Not a fan. Why does Red buff the bird here? He needs a tank. And the bird is his only natural tank. So it makes the most sense for him to buff the bird. In this situation, Drosh is doing I think the correct thing. Buffing bird, giving himself as much tank line as he possibly can. So to a single mole, Jaren is leaking. Much Too Great is leaking. It looks like Drosh, though, is holding. So Much Too Great's leak, while is unfortunate, Drosh is getting more value out of this as well, right? He's gaining something from the leak. Gaining some value. If he gets a kill, that is. I don't think he will, though. Almost killed one. This won't kill him. If anything, it just allows them to scale more. Drosh is going to send big on 12. I don't love the 12 send. We all know how I feel about wave 12. I lose more games sending there than I win. It's an option, but I don't love it. I don't love it. Alright, so Drosh sending big here. It does make me sad that Much Too Great's not sending with him. It doesn't look like he has any value to do so, though. We do see the villain and lead archer, but the villain's not any buffed, So 13 is better, I guess. Yeah, I prefer 13 in most situations, right? We see now that the bunk's coming out on the butcher. So like realistically, oh, we see villain getting dropped by Toasty now here as well. Realistically, he probably would have been better off going next. Though with the full send here, the bunk doesn't do shit. The bunk just dies. There's not enough sustain on the bunk. If it was a haven, sure. But I don't think there's enough sustain here. We'll see. It looks like a lot's going through. The mole getting sniped is unfortunate. That's a lot of percentage, right, that he's losing out on. Not getting in, but 85% leak is pretty huge. Yes. If I had to guess, Drach is probably saying, "Hey, let's send together again on like 14." The problem is they're not getting any real crazy value out of this. They are getting some gold, I guess. As you can see now, they just delayed for the sends of Toasty and Jaren. Let's see here. Drach does get the Doomsday. So there is something at least positive here. I am kind of sad though. Drach had to sell that Windhawk to get a bunk, which is now bad on this wave when he's actually going to receive another send. So in that situation, I probably wouldn't have sold that Windhawk there, but what do I know, right? The Doomsday is good here for Drach. I don't dislike the Arc Tear. The problem is he is getting 4 eyes, which then kind of negates the whole Arc Tear thing. Does seem like Drach is going to pretty easily clear here. Doomsday is just stupid good damage here. If you have some sort of delay / tank, which he does. The question now is, does he hold for his teammate? I don't think this is a kill send, right? Like this won't, even if this full thing got to the king, I don't think this kills them. They've just got a couple king up, so it kind of makes a difference. And it looks like the Doomsday and the Chieftain are going to be the ones that get targeted first. Unfortunate for him. If it was the other way around where the masks get targeted first here, I think he would full clear. But the mask getting targeted second, though, he's going to leak just the golem and the 4 eyes to king. Could be worse. Could be worse. They are sending now on 14. Realistically, if I see a send here on 13, I probably would have went 15 into both Toasty and Jaren. Just for the sole fact that I see that, he's got elite archers, which are better on 14. And much too great. Instead of going a mole, please use the mole. He goes witch for whatever reason. Definitely go mole here. Mole is severely underrated, I guess. Drach giving us some brute action. Watch that brute. Look at him punch things. He's still alive too. Actually, that's the most impressive thing, is the brute hasn't been sniped yet. So again, mole probably leaks him. Mole hermit leaks him pretty good. Jaren's build has no tanks again. He's over 100 income over everyone else. Yeah. So Drach took the reins and is just income sending and going for scale here, which makes the most sense in my opinion. I would resend after his dude leaked this hard if I were Drach, because I want to make sure I hold 15, because this has been one of those teeter-tottery games. I would want to make sure I hold 15 and 16. Drach is stupid ahead right now, Bocce. That's about the only thing you missed. And you see, I understand the idea of the Chieftain here, but I much prefer a second Doomsday there, if I do say so myself. Because I personally think he just lacks a little bit of damage for some of these waves. But, you know. So, no resends out of anybody here. I don't understand the baby mask in front of Bunk either, Voja. I guess because he wants the baby mask to, because it's swift, but in this situation, the problem is that the baby mask doesn't move, which then in turn gets his chieftains killed. Right, like this is a problem. If he didn't do that, he would have been fine. But with that, it looks like he's getting closer to League. It's the after Christmas meal on the baby mask, yeah. So, okay. Much Too Great finally goes Safety Mole Hermit. Barely held by Toasty. So again, this is where I would have liked to seen Drosh resend. Yeah, get rid of that thing. It's a shitter. It's a pack leader mole. Whatever. That's what I was trying to say. He also has a hermit. Oh, no. Wait. Okay, there's the pack leader. Was I looking at their team? Okay, yes, I was. Similar color, sorry. There's the pack leader mole. Yikes, my brain. Why? Why do the mask? Oh my gosh. I understand the idea behind the mask. I do. But it just also just isn't good. Why? Like, I would much rather see your fortified unit be there because it at least does more damage. Right? It does some damage on the wave. Whereas this just kind of sits here and goiters its way into a loss. I don't know. I really don't love buffing T1s if you have something like, you know, a Bunk. Because I think he would have held a lot easier here if he just had Bunked. Because there's a lot of things that were like half HP. But I guess I don't know. That's a GG regardless. They leaked way too much. At the end of the day, Drosh is way ahead, so it really doesn't matter too much. I think the big issue, again, Jaren has no tanks. Like, look at his build. He has 4 tanks. That's it. 4 tanks total. You need tank line, man. You gotta have some tank line. Oh. I already completed that one. Big mask OP. Drosh, we're flaming you over your big mask. I think he would have leaked less with the Bunk just being buffed, to be honest. You test it, Gorilla. It doesn't have numbers necessarily, but I want to play this one, so how we do this, I'm not sure. By the way, West Team won. I need to go change that. I know you were.